Good morning, Sonder fam. I am cracking up at all the fun, unhinged romantic nicknames that everyone's coming up with by choosing their birthday month and their favorite color there. Those are the zesty stroop waffle and the fergalicious quesadilla and the spinky sparkle buns. I like the deep fried bean bomb. These are all great names. So kind of a little bit of fun here this morning as we get started with our weekly setup. If we have not met, my name is Maya, and I am coming to you from Aurora, Colorado, it's not little, a suburb of Denver. And it's actually pretty warm today. I know a lot of you have been dealing with a lot of the cold and the snow, and I'll be honest, Colorado has not had it. We have been super warm. We have had a few days of snow, but I don't even think we've had 7 full days of like winter weather. It's been very warm. I think it's supposed to be like in the upper 50s, maybe 60 again today. So I feel for you, those of you that are in the snow, but I'm also a little bit jealous because usually we have some snow here. So kind of a bummer. Yeah. So lots of different, we all are having some different weather patterns that perhaps we're not used to. I know Texas got hit with some super cold weather. So hopefully you all are staying warm. Yes, I will happily send it your way, Amy. I'm trying to send them more. I think it's going to be 69 later this week, which I was like, February 69? I think not. Um, so I don't know. We'll see. It's also been super dry, which is not good for the mountains, for the wildfires in the summer. So definitely keeping that on our minds as we're looking forward. So, is anybody new? Is this your first time at a Sonder Social? You can just put a little me in the chat. I know I see a lot of folks that are familiar, are folks that have been with us for a while. But if you're new, welcome. These weekly setups really are just a time for you to be able to get some ideas for how you want to set up that week, what you want things to look like, excuse me. I'll give you lots of different examples from real life Sonder fam members, and it's just a good time. I will also mention that sometimes the chat gets rolling pretty fast because we usually have upwards of 100 people here. So if that stresses you out, just close it out. You can kind of ignore that and work on your journals. Sometimes people like to come and hang out in the chat. They kind of just take some notes and don't necessarily work in their journal. Some people do a mix of both. We do have weekly setups on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I think tomorrow's usually if we do a morning on Saturday, we do the afternoon or evening on Sunday and vice versa. So if we do like the later time on Saturday, we do the early morning. So we try to kind of switch it up so folks can come. And then Monday morning is always the morning one. So hopefully, and you're welcome to come to as many of those as you would like, right? So sometimes people will come and they will one time they come and they focus on their journal, another time they come and they focus in the chat, the next time they come and they finish things up. So you're welcome to come to as many of those as you would like. And then also you will notice there's a little note about that little blue box in the chat. You want to make sure that it says everyone. It has an obnoxious tendency to flip back to host and panelist. And when it does that, the only people that will see what you write are myself and my fabulous co-host, Katie. She is here in the chat, kind of helping with questions. She'll be providing links, all of those kinds of things. But just know if you want everyone to see it, you might have to keep flipping it to say everyone. So let's see. So a few other just housekeeping tips here for our community guidelines. We want to make sure that you're kind and courteous to both yourself and others. This is a safe space. Want to make sure everyone feels welcome, everyone feels like they can participate. And then no promotions or spam. We respect everyone's privacy, no hate speech or bullying. We limit those repetitive product and accessory questions. Best place to ask about pens and stickers and those kinds of things is in our app and Sonder Club. So hopefully you have that. And then any of those customer care inquiries go to our headquarters team. So hello@silkandsonder.com. Just keep in mind that they're usually a Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 Pacific time group. So they might take a little bit to get back to you if you email them on the weekend, but they can help you with subscriptions, updating the billing information. If you want to change from a monthly plan to a yearly plan, they can help you with all of that because Katie and I don't have access to your accounts. And then ultimately, remember, these socials are a tool to help elevate your emotional health through the power of community. And goodness knows we have a super supportive, fun, friendly, creative, smart group of folks, but ultimately you're responsible for your own emotions, well-being, and decisions. So if there's ever anything that we're working on that just isn't your jam, feel free to do what you need to do. I know sometimes we have folks that come and they spend the time coloring, right? So that's okay, right? Again, this is your time. You do what you need to do to give yourself this time for you. This is your you time with the journal. So this month's theme, hopefully you have had a little bit of a chance now that we've had a week of the month to dig into this theme of belief. And I've seen a lot of people kind of asking, does belief mean, is it talking about like a spiritual belief? Is it talking about a belief in yourself? Is it, what is it talking about? And really it's whatever you need it to be, right? And so for a lot of us and a lot of the activities we do really will be exploring our beliefs, and we all have beliefs that either are inherited from our parents, from our upbringing, from, siblings, from who we've been with, to like life experiences, and then really kind of examining those and just kind of seeing what that looks like and what that means and how that influences our actions and behaviors. So I liked this pretty art. It's very, very pretty, very colorful, but this quote of, I think you should keep going just to see what happens. And I think that's a nice reminder that sometimes things can be tough. Sometimes things, life is that series of ups and downs, right? And sometimes we're in the down and it just seems like it keeps going down, but we want to keep going so we can see what happens. And I think that also is part of the reason why I have a hard time not finishing a book or a movie, is because I'm always like, but I just want to see what happens. I mean, I know it's not good, but I want to see maybe it gets better at the end. Maybe something changes. Maybe these people are redeemable. So anyway, I think that's one of my beliefs, is that I think you should just keep going to see what happens, because you just never know. So our agenda for this morning is we're going to do our belief mind map. And the mind map is something that we do in these weekly socials specifically. It is not printed in your journal. It will be on a blank page, and I'll give you a little more instruction about that in just a moment. We'll do our rosebud thorn activity, which this week is going to be on page 36 of your February journal. And then we'll do those weekly setup pages. And I always have these two little cartoons here just to kind of remind us of a couple of things. First of all, there's room for you here just as you are. Excuse me. So no matter what's going on, again, the ups and the downs, no matter where you are in that roller coaster of life, we're here for you. We want to celebrate wins. We want to empathize with things that may be going tough. We can give some suggestions. We can give some ideas for maybe how to kind of overcome that and get back on that upward slope. And then the way you feel matters, and no emotion you feel is bad or unworthy, right? So no one can tell you, oh, you shouldn't be happy about this, or you should be, this should make you glad, or this shouldn't upset you, right? Nobody can really tell us. Our feelings are our feelings, and they just are what they are. And we're here to feel them all together. So find that blank page in your journal. Maybe it's the weekly scratch pad. Maybe a lot of people like to use the very, very back page in the journal for this. And think about the fact that beliefs shape us quietly, right? Some are chosen, some are inherited, and some were formed to help us through a moment in time. This month, we're simply slowing down to notice them. Each week offers a space to reflect with curiosity and kindness. No fixing, no pressure, no right answers. We're just going to write what feels true right now and trust that whatever comes up is enough. Okay, so this is week 2. If you did not get a chance to do week 1, don't worry, you're not behind. You can do it later if you want. You don't have to do it. You can just start with week 2, right? Don't worry about that. So week 2, we are looking at what belief do we have that once protected us, but may now be limiting us. And then we're going to write about, I no longer need this belief to protect me from blank, right? So a few questions just to kind of dig in this. And then also just to note, again, blank page, scratch pad, sticky notes. You can use the definition page on page 3. Maybe it's page 28 and 29. Maybe it's the quote page on page 38. Maybe it's the notes page on 57. Using your driver's license to kind of trace shapes to write. We will always have 4 of these. Some months we will have a bonus mind map if there's an extra weekend in there. And this was mine from last week. I haven't had a chance to take a picture of this week's to put it in there. But so we're thinking about protection, beliefs that protect us. right? So, what belief once protected us that may now be limiting us? What has happened in your life what was happening in this life, talking too fast. What was happening in your life when this belief formed? What did it keep you safe from, emotionally, socially, or physically? How does it show up today without asking permission? And then I no longer need this belief to protect me from. And so for me, the belief that once protected me, but now does somewhat limit me, and I have kind of tried to let go of this belief, is the belief that if I don't do it myself, then it won't get done. So I feel like I have to do everything. I feel like I can't outsource anything. I can't give that to someone else. And it did help when I couldn't really rely on folks, right? Um, sometimes growing up, mom and dad are great, but sometimes they were not necessarily making sure that things happened for me. And so if I wanted things done, if I wanted to have things happen for me, I had to do it. I had to be the one who did it, which again, it kept me safe emotionally. I didn't have to worry about disappointment because I was the one who did it. And if I didn't do it, then I was only disappointed with myself. It really helped me socially by getting things done, by doing the work, but then again, thinking about taking on too much, right? It was one of those where it's really easy to burn out when you take on more and more and more, which also ties to that belief that I talked about last week, which was the belief that I had about rest had to be earned. You were being lazy if you just were resting, like you had to have a reason why you needed to rest. And so kind of getting over that. So my belief that I have to do it myself, I don't need that anymore, right? I know that other folks can do things. And you know what? Sometimes if they don't do it or they don't do it right, oh well, right? So like one of the things, my husband loading the dishwasher, right? He doesn't do it how I would do it. And I used to get stressed about that, right? I think, oh, if I want this done right, I'm going to have to do it myself. And I would fix how he had loaded things in the dishwasher. And then I thought, you know what? Does it really make a difference? Is it really ruining anything? Like, I mean, yeah, okay. So he's had a few cups that maybe he put down in the bottom that had like a print on it that got kind of garbled. But is that in the grand scheme of things, does it matter? And you know what? I don't have time to reload the dishwasher. I don't have time to do that. And it doesn't. So now I just let him do it. Right. I'm like, I don't have to do it. That's not my job. He can load the dishwasher. Right. Yeah. So Doreen's saying my spouse has no idea how to correctly load the dishwasher. So again, right. It's just like letting that go. Right. Like I'm not going to stress about it. Right. I'm just like, you know what? He loads the dishwasher and the dishes get washed. So as long as nothing's getting ruined, he's gotten very good about asking, is this okay in the dishwasher? And I'll say, well, only on the top rack. And he'll be like, okay. So he's learning, right? But it's just, okay, but I'll be honest, I'm not going to let him wash my clothes because he doesn't know how to wash clothes. But he thought to sort the clothes, you sorted them by type. So he would put like all the pants in one load, regardless of what color they were, all the shirts in one load. And yeah, I was like, oh, that doesn't work. I'll do the laundry. You can do the dishes. So I don't need this belief of I have to do everything to protect me from disappointment, to protect me from any of that. I need to release things. So I know some folks are kind of putting there into the chat kind of what they're thinking about. So take these questions, think about this belief maybe that once protected you, but now it might be limiting you a little bit. Spend a little bit of time journaling on this. I will play a little bit of music to let you work on that, and then we'll check back in and keep going. Feel free to share in the chat if you are comfortable. Hey, so thanks for those of you who were sharing in the chat. I know we all were having kind of discussions about our spouses and sometimes our beliefs and sometimes their beliefs, and kind of how sometimes those can kind of have a little bit of a they don't quite fit together nicely. So it's good to be able to talk about that with each other and really kind of have those conversations. um and if you still need a little bit of time to process it, that's absolutely fine. Like, I know we don't give a ton of time to process some of these questions and these thoughts. We could probably spend the full hour just talking about beliefs that protected us but now are limiting us. So this really is just a little bit of a starting point for you to think about. And it might be nice if you want to go back throughout the week, kind of revisit this and see what kind of things come up. See if you can identify beliefs that pop up just from day to day, just, kind of as you're going through your day, what beliefs are popping up, like, oh, I can't be late to work. And sometimes, like, that's depending on the job you have, right? Like, there's not really a late, like 5 minutes later or 10 minutes later doesn't really make a difference in the grand scheme of things, but we get beliefs kind of stuck in our head that we have to do something, right? So yeah, Andrea's saying if you're on time, you're late, right? That whole, like, what kind of beliefs are we holding on to about, especially about what other people are thinking about us, or expectations that others might have, and how might we think about saying, like, okay, thank you, belief. I appreciate that you protected me from this, but now I'm going to go ahead and let you go, and we're going to add some different beliefs that I can ask other people for help, and they will come through and get things done. So thanks for spending just a little bit of time with us. And again, spend some time throughout the rest of the week just kind of thinking about what beliefs you have and what you might maybe be able to let go because you don't need that protection anymore. So let's go over to our Rosebud Thorn page, which is on page 36. We always want to spend just a few minutes reflecting on this last week, kind of seeing what things we did, how things went, the good, the bad, the things we're looking forward to, right? So I like to start with the thorn just so I get the crummy thing out of the way. So the thorn is really that something that's challenging or stressful, something maybe we could use a little bit more support with, maybe something that is out of your control, out of your sphere of influence. So for me, if you've been with me for a while, I've been talking about how I got the sewing machine back out. I've been working on this quilt that I started back in 2013. It's almost done, but I wanted to do some zigzagging stitching, and my machine will not zigzag. It will only go straight. It won't do any of the other stitches. It acts like it's switching to the stitches, but it doesn't. So I took it into a repair guy, and yeah, no zig for my zag. And I took it into the repair guy, and he called me yesterday and was like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't fix your machine. I don't really know this machine well, and I don't want to mess it up if I open it up. So now it's kind of like deciding, do I want to try to spend more money? It's not an expensive machine by any stretch of the imagination, or do I just keep it as a backup because it stitches straight? So, but that's been a thorn, right? A little bit of a challenge, a little bit of irritation. I'm like, I just want to sew this quilt. Our bud is something that's coming up, something we're looking forward to, gives us hope, motivation, inspiration. And not this weekend, but next weekend will be a 3-day weekend. So I always look forward to that, a little bit of a break. Unfortunately, my husband doesn't get President's Day off, just me. So I have some just me things planned, facial, and probably hang out with my mom. And so just some nice, fun things. So we've got that. And then our rose is something that we're grateful for, something that's positive, something that's fun. Doesn't have to be huge. So for me, I found that there are 3 new M&M flavors that you can vote on. I don't know if it's like you're voting on it for it to like stick around. They call it like from the bakery shop or something. So there's a lemon meringue pie, which I'll be honest, I don't feel like it doesn't have much chocolate in it. It like literally is like a lemon meringue. So that was my husband's favorite. And then there's a peanut butter cinnamon roll, which is pretty good. And then I liked, my favorite was the cherry chocolate cupcake, which I thought was very good and an appropriate M&M flavor. So that's kind of my rose, something that was a little fun. Again, it can be something silly, something small. So it was fun. So we bought one of each of those little packages, and then each night my husband and I would split the package, so we would each have half of the package, and talk about the flavors and those kinds of things. So that was kind of fun. So I will let you, I see folks are popping their rose, their bud, and their thorn into the chat. Feel free to share what you would like. I will play just a little bit of music, and then we will keep moving on. All right. So thank you for sharing in the chat. I see some people are talking about their buds. Are the Olympics started last night? I didn't get a chance to watch the opening ceremonies, but I'm sure I can catch a recording of it somewhere. I do kind of like to do that. And then I like to do in the knitting community, we do like a little Rav Olympics. So we'll like have fun little events and do some knitting. So I want to figure out when some events are that I want to watch, and then I can work on some knitting, work on some hats, work on some different things. Yeah, the Olympics are starting, so those are always kind of fun. I do enjoy watching other people get out there, and then I think, well, could I do that? No, I don't think I could. And so a lot of folks were kind of talking about the fact sometimes that one thing can be your rose, your bud, and your thorn. And I think that's so important for us to really realize is that one event or one thing really can be all three. And so it's good for us to just take a little bit of a time to appreciate that um, and how things work. This is also a great page when you do your monthly setup. When you do March's monthly setup, you can look back at all the rosebud thorns from each week and really kind of see, give you that more complete picture of what your month looked like. So thank you all for sharing in the chat your rose, your bud, and your thorn. And we're going to move into our weekly planner, right? We are going to move on to page 40 and 41 in your journal. And I just had a few cute little graphics because I do like to find the fun little graphics that you can see. So the first thing we're going to talk a little bit about is this week I want to feel up at the top of page 40. So really kind of thinking about how you want to show up for yourself, show up for everyone else this week. So I did pop back in the Silk and Sonder. The first three words you see will be your February affirmation. So if you need some words that you want in there, I see there's like worthy and there's calm and power. Trying to see what else is in there. Serenity, peaceful, grateful, right? Those are all good words. And then it can be one word, it could be several words, it could be a phrase, it could be a mantra, an affirmation, maybe it's a sticker, a picture, something maybe you want to focus on, a quote. If you have your word of the year, maybe you want to do that. Different kinds of ideas for how to do that. And then I'm also going to talk a little bit about the next part, which is your weekly major 3 goals, because I think sometimes when you think about what are the goals that I can accomplish this week that will help me feel my feeling. So I like this February, please bring the energy that nourishes me, sprinkles hope, soothes what still feels tender, grounds me, ignites a quiet courage from within, allows me to breathe, softens me, wraps me in calm, whispers you've got this, heals the parts I'm still learning to love. So those are also some ideas of things that maybe you want to feel. Maybe you want to feel nourished. Maybe you want to feel hopeful. Maybe you want to feel calm, quiet. You want to feel soothed, healed, those kinds of words, and then thinking about those goals. So you could see lots of different ways to do this. Some people have like an early, a midday, and an evening goal that they have. A frog, fun and fierce. I love the idea of the frog, the eat the frog, where you do the thing that you're avoiding the most right off the bat in the beginning so that you've got that done. Maybe you want to use some stickers or talk about maybe this person was going to do some planning. Maybe it's the 4 C's: create, consume, cavort, and commune. I thought that was super cute way to kind of divide up the 3 major goals into like 4 areas where you have some things you want to do. You can see one person has a mind, body, and soul goal. And then they have, for mind, they're going to embrace planning. For their body, they're going to embrace doing. And for their soul, they're going to embrace peacefulness. And then they went over to their to-do section and made a super cute little bingo with 3 little things associated for each one. And I love that idea of kind of bringing those together and making that kind of more of the complete picture. Here's some more things that folks have done for goals, right? Like some things about I'm choosing to live my life the way I want to. I do what I feel is right. I choose to be my whole self. Some people in this part put in some a little bingo. We do love a good bingo here in Silk and Sonder. We've got some little stickers in there and some, again, those 3 goals. This person, the person on the right, they have a let go, lean into, and learn goals. One person, they actually flipped their pages, so they put goals and some little stickers on the right side, and then they put their to-dos over on the right side, left side, right side. You know what I mean here. And I I think they put they liked the to-dos to have on the little graph page, so that's a good idea. Again, thinking about releasing control and trust, resist trying to fix everything, keep my heart open. Maybe it's a professional mind and a body goal. If goals aren't quite your jam, or maybe you set monthly goals, so you're not going to have weekly ones, maybe it's going to be some quotes or some podcasts, movies, TV shows. Maybe it's some books that you want to read. Katie and I were talking about books before we hopped on here, books that we're reading, books we like to read. Maybe it's songs that you want to listen to, some topics you want to know more about, some new recipes, doing a little mini bingo board. And then I like this. If you change the belief first, changing the action is easier. So maybe you want to think about 3 beliefs that you have and explore those a little bit deeper. Oops, I didn't mean to go to the to-dos yet. So we're going to work on the feel and the goals. I'll play a little bit of music, let you work on those, cycle through these slides, and then we'll check back in here in just a few moments. Right. So thanks for sharing there in the chat what you're coming up with. Andrea says that she always has a self, a family, and a home goal, and then puts in the to-dos, puts the things that she wants to do for those goals. So I think that's a great way to look at that. Let's see some other ones. Smile often, give compliments, and impress myself. I think that is those are beautiful goals. Maybe you want to put in a fun sticker. So I liked the Pam's putting in this week's thought is a sticker, follow your heart. I think that's a great one. Again, stickers. I know lots of us talk about all the stickers we have. So as your stickers want to be stuck on those pages, it's their sticker destiny. So don't be afraid to put them on there. You're not going to do it wrong. Don't be afraid. Don't save them for something special, right? Something special is this week. Something special is today. Put those stickers in your journal so that you can see them and enjoy them. We need to enjoy things a little bit more. So let's talk about our to-dos and also our habits and activities that are right under that, because sometimes those are a little bit interchangeable. So I did put a little fill your February cup. there. So some different ideas for things that you can do. And I really like this one. I'm really into writing short fiction, mainly to-do lists. So is your to-do list becoming like a piece of short fiction? Like really kind of thinking about what kinds of things that you're going to pop in there. So again, lots of different ways to do these to-do sections. Sometimes it literally is just a to-do list. Sometimes people divide it into a self, home, and work list. Sometimes people have like a master month to-do list, and then they use the Eisenhower matrix to figure out which ones they want to put where. So thinking about that, what's important and urgent, I'm going to do it. Not important, not urgent, I'm going to delegate it, right? Remember, we can delegate things, even though we think we have to do everything ourselves. Maybe it's important and it's not urgent, so we decide when we're going to do it. Maybe it's not going to be until next week. And then if it's not important and not urgent, maybe there's things that we want to be able to delete or drop. Also, we can, I like the person, they have like things they have some people that they need to call, some errands they need to run, some follow-ups they need to have happen, some things they need to schedule. So they've got their to-dos broken down that way. Break it down into needs and wants, break it down into a don't do this instead. Maybe it's just a little reminder to yourself to treasure yourself, right? Treasure myself. And they have a little drawing there. Some fun, they have like each day they've divided it up into, each day of the week and something that they're going to do. And I really liked this one that says, one challenge: if you decide to skip, delay, or opt out of a healthy and reasonable task or habit activity, like going to the gym, you must physically write the reason why on a post-it note. No shame, but if the reason seems dumb, crumple it up and do the thing. If it makes sense on paper, give yourself grace. At least you thought about it. I thought that is a great challenge, right? If we're kind of thinking about skipping something or maybe doing it later or maybe not doing it, putting things off, physically writing down on a sticky note, right? I am not going to go to the gym because blank, right? And then you look at that and you think, is that a valid reason, right? Okay, maybe I'll just crumple it up and go. So I love that. Kimberly, was that one yours? I love that challenge, right? That's a great challenge. And then of course we have our fabulous graphics there that you can find some fun things on the February bucket list, maybe something from the Hello February, have an outdoor winter adventure. I can't really have an outdoor winter adventure because it's not really very wintry here, but I can have an outdoor adventure. So I could maybe do that. And then our habits and activities, again, these are things on this page that are more specific to the week, things that you want to do for this week, a little bit different from the habits wheel that we have monthly that's more for the things you want to do every day. And I loved this little quote about, I love reading multiple books at the same time because it's like, I'm bored. I think I'll take a break from reading and read instead, which I was talking with Katie, and I usually have like a hard copy book that I'm reading, the Kindle book that I'm reading, and then an audio book going. So sometimes I just switch between the books and what I have time to take in at that particular time. So here's some fun habits and activities that folks have put down. Sometimes it's things like be kind to myself, acceptance of myself, get enough sleep, get outside, more fresh foods. I like the ones we've got: do one thing to make tomorrow easier, celebrate progress, limit pointless distractions, use music as motivation, use your resources without guilt and shame. That is fantastic ideas for things to put in. And you can, for the little goal part, you can put how many days that you want to do that thing. You don't have to, right? Some people don't like the pressure of saying, I'm going to do this 3 times or 4 times. They just kind of cover up that little section there. Also, maybe you want to do a to-don't list, things you don't want to do. Maybe you have a ta-da bingo. Maybe you have a to-be list, how you want to be. Maybe you have some things that will help you relax after a long day. I think that is super important, like get a massage or practice some breath work, engage in your hobby, making some calming herbal tea. Yeah, the audiobooks I do with my commute now with my new job. It's not quite so new anymore. I've been there 6 months, but I have a longish commute coming, not so much going there, but coming home. There's a lot of traffic. So I have completed, I can't even tell you how many books, but I have noticed there are some books that I think would have been better for me to have read on paper because I like to be able to kind of flip back and forth as opposed to listening to an audiobook. But hey, it's okay, right? Getting that reading in. So, and here's some more fun a little icon, some slow winter things because it is still winter. Remember, we are still in winter. You don't have to keep pushing yourself to do things. So again, reading more, scrolling less, enjoying more cozy treats, um, opening curtains to let winter light in. Not necessarily open the window, but I know it's cold for some folks. And then there's the February bucket list from Ordinary and Happy. And if you don't check out their Instagram page, because they always have like lots of fun things. And you can even subscribe to an email that they'll send you like different fun bucket lists or daily lists or all of those kinds of things, right? So again, I will let you work on this little section, and then I will check back in and we will just keep going. All right. So thank you for sharing in the chat. I appreciate someone said that they had been writing everything down, but they were in last week's section. I think that happened to some other folks last week as well, just because there was the week there was the full week, but it only had the one day from February for Sunday. And so they had kind of mixed it up. So, I mean, that happens, right? It's not a big deal. You could just move it over. If you need, you could do a little correction tape in there. There's some cream color like correction tape that you can get to always use. So don't feel like you've ruined your journal, right? You can kind of do what you need to do to get that to move forward. So let's go over to side B, the B side, the page 41. Katie likes to call it the B side, right? So on our albums, our records, sometimes we only listen to the A side. Sometimes we like to listen to that B side. Sometimes it's got some good tracks on there. So you do what you need to do for this section. And, sometimes depending on how we're feeling, maybe sometimes it literally is just some stickers that we're putting on here, right? And just giving ourselves some grace. If a lot of things are happening in our life, a lot of things are going on, we're feeling just very, just a lot of overwhelm, a lot of overload. Don't let your journal be a source of overload, right? Don't let that be one more thing that you have to add to your plate, right? Let this just be a fun place. Maybe you want to doodle, maybe you want to put stickers, maybe you're just like, what, I'm not even going to do my journal. I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to listen to music and I'm just going to think about it and I'll maybe do it later, right? So don't let the journal be a source of stress is what I'm trying to say here. And yes, I had to include the picture of this cat. Our old cat is she's not quite as chubby as she used to be, but this literally is her. She's like, I'm skin and bones, I'm starving, I haven't eaten. And it's like, you literally just ate like moments ago. You just walked away from the bowl. Cats are just so funny that way. So for our meal plan, obviously you can plan your meals, you can track your meals. Maybe you want to specifically track dinner. Whoever would have thought as adults, our biggest question every day that we had to ask is, what do you want for dinner? Right? Sometimes that gets a little bit much. So having it planned, having it written down can be super helpful. Take something off your mind there. But a lot of different things you can do. One good thing, some daily affirmations. Maybe it's packing list or a wardrobe planner. Maybe it's your belief of the day, the belief that you identified that was coming up for you that day. Maybe it's tracking some exercise. Maybe it's cleaning. Maybe it's spending. A lot of different ways that you can use this. Maybe it's doodling. Here's some fun February doodling ideas for each day. What is today? Doodling some diamonds in there. So I like that. Some fun shiny things in there for Saturday. Meal plan food for my soul is over on the left. Some great prompts to think about each day, like what are 3 things I'm grateful for right now? Who are 3 people that I'm grateful for? What's draining my energy? Different kinds of things. What's a small goal I achieved? Different things for people to be able to reflect on, for you to kind of reflect on each day. So nice idea that way. Then our mind body health plan. I'm going to go over all the things on this page and then let you take what you need, work on what you need for here. I did put this no spin challenge for entertainment. I've been trying to revamp some finances a little bit. And really kind of, this was very helpful, this idea about different kinds of things that you can do that don't cost any money. So kind of fun things that like plan a neighborhood walk or a hike, swap books, puzzles, or games, go on a picnic, use the library. I definitely like to use the library, so that's a good one. Here's some other things folks have done, some yoga that they were going to do. Maybe they made it the highlight of their day, some things that they feel, ways that they want to feel, things that they need to do. A nice little alliteration here: Motivation Monday, Talk It Out Tuesday, Walking Wednesday. Those are kind of fun. The one up at the top with the puzzle pieces, I thrive when all the pieces come together. And so they have different things in each one of those puzzle pieces that they want to do. And I just really like this quote of, if you are making your 10-year-old proud and giving 80-year-old you something to reminisce about, I think you're doing okay. And so that kind of is a fun way. What are some things I want to do this week to make my 10-year-old self proud? Our shopping list, again, here's kind of a continuation of the person who had the challenge of writing things down if they didn't want to do them. And so here's some excuses that I didn't let stop me. Too much snow, I'm scared, my stomach kind of hurts, I don't want to. I thought it and overcame it. Yay me. So I think that's so important to recognize, right? I had these thoughts. I wasn't going to do this thing that I said I was going to do. I wrote it down And then I did it anyway. I overcame those and then felt really good about doing those things. So I think that is such a beautiful way to recognize your strength, right? Recognize that you can do these things. You don't have to let the excuses win, right? It's one of those, when you argue for your excuses, you get to keep them. So we're not going to argue for these excuses. We're going to write them down, and then we're going to be like, you know what? No, that's a dumb excuse. Crumple, crumple. I'm going to go do it. And then I had to put this in there for the readers of us. I don't think you understand just how badly a reader needs the book they just heard about 5 minutes ago and will not end up reading for the next 5 years. I do that all the time. Oh, here's a new book. Oh, I need to put that on my list. I need to, get this book from the library. And my poor to be read pile stares at me and gets a little angry with me adding more books to the to be read pile. Some other fun things to do: daily ritual, a boring stuff bingo. That's a great way to kind of think about gamifying some of the boring things that you have to do, celebrating your wins, a mini meditation, just for fun bingo. Again, quotes, bedtime routine, morning routine, a cleaning chart. If you do Wordle, these are also fun. Yeah, Tina, I love the reader quotes that make you feel not so. Yeah, it's not just you. It's not. A lot of us readers have the same little things that we think. And then the last part is the I am loving, right? So what are you loving? Maybe it's a quote, maybe it's a thing that you're doing, maybe it's a show that you're watching or a song that you're listening to. And one of our Sonder fam posted this in Sonder Club, and I thought this was great. It says, I thought, what if my grand purpose is to live a life of kindness, gratitude, and the quiet celebration of small, beautiful things, to reflect the goodness of the maker of the universe in every step? And that seemed like a worthy goal. And this person was talking about how they always felt guilty that they didn't have my grand purpose, my reason for being, and have to have this like amazing, huge, giant thing. It's like, what if my grand purpose is being kind, being grateful, celebrating small, beautiful things? And I think that was super beautiful. I love, love, love that idea. So I'll be quiet for these last few little minutes, let you work on this section or whatever you need to do, and then we'll check back in and we'll finish up. right. Well, believe it or not, we have come to the end of our hour. I don't know how this is always the fastest hour. Treadmill hours are not nearly as fast, right? I don't know how that happens. So hopefully you will feel that you want to share your weekly planner in Sonder Club. You can see all of these examples came from fabulous Sonder Club members like you, right? I did not make them up. I did not make AI make them up. These are all what I call HI, the human intelligence part, right? So we love to see those. Also wanted to mention we do have the birthday bash coming up for the 7th birthday of Silk and Sonder with Meha. We're going to do some trivia, have some reflection prompts. That is on February 18th. Katie will drop the link in the chat if you want to sign up for that. Love to see you there. I will also pop the link for my playlist in there. It's got a lot of different songs, not necessarily just the songs I played here, but just kind of, I like to pick and choose. I usually make a little monthly playlist and then kind of pick and choose from there. But hopefully feeling good about this week, feeling good about getting things set up, ready to take on the week. Again, we have another social tomorrow night. We have another weekly setup on Monday morning. Feel free to join those if you didn't quite feel like you got enough, right? So Katie's going to do the one, I think, tomorrow, or maybe it's Malika that's doing it tomorrow. Tomorrow night. And then we have one again Monday morning. So it's always kind of fun to see what the other facilitators say, see what other ideas other people have. And I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. And we will see you again soon.